Someone said, when are we going to get a badminton episode? I don't know. I actually did have to play badminton in high school for PE, as well as yo-yo. Yo-yo was also part of the PE regiment at Albany High. But I went out this past weekend and I played pickleball against my will. And I know I'm old because I'm sore from said pickleball. I shouldn't be sore from geriatric ping pong tennis. But here we are. I'm your host, Jason Myles, here for another episode of Beyond the Red Zone, our very own show that is dedicated to in-depth coverage of sports. At least that's what we tell ourselves every time we do this show. We are back. Mac is back from his race. Definitely he's going to tell you all about it. For our returning listeners, patrons, subscribers, and our patrons again, you are the driving force beyond the TIR machine, and we couldn't do this without you. For those new to the channel, welcome. If you do enjoy this type of programming, please hit like and subscribe. It is a very passive gesture that goes a long way towards promoting the channel. For fans of the main show, yesterday I spoke with Professor Alexander Herbert, and he gave us a history lesson and took your questions on Lenin and the February, not the October, the February Revolution. Also, the latest crisis papers is out now. Killing Them Softly, Dave Chappelle, Race Reductionism, and Cultural Hegemony. Wherever you are watching or later listening to the show, there is a link in the description to the crisis papers. And even if you aren't a patron, you can purchase any of the issues. But as a patron, you get them all free. Following the show tonight, I will be hosting a spooktacular, I meant that in a scary movie way, not in a black people way, TIR movie night, where I'll be screening the 1961 horror classic, The Innocents. This film is known as the scariest film of 1961, and I watched it during the day this past weekend, and it freaked me out a bit. So I'm looking forward to hearing and seeing your reactions to the film. Maybe you're wondering, hey, Jay, why are you wearing a Giant shirt? It's because we beat LA! I now live, even though I live in Mexico, I live in the land of the Dodgers. No one's a Padres fan. Padres fans aren't real. Padres fans are sad Dodgers fans. Padres fans are the living embodiment of contrarians, much like Clippers fans. They're just not real. I believe in Chargers fans. Oh, I believe. Padre fan, I don't believe in you. Prove me wrong, Padre fan. But I don't believe in you. Now, if you appreciate all the diverse programming we provide here on TIR and you want to join us for these movie nights and champagne rooms, you should become a paid YouTube subscriber or a patron. You'll get access to the champagne rooms and movie nights like tonight. You get the crisis papers, you get the weekly newsletter, and you get the satisfaction of knowing that your small pledge is a large part of making sure this insanity can continue. Now, let's talk a little 2026 NFL Draft. The NFL Draft is almost here, and the question dominating everything from front offices to degenerates on the poly market is simple. Who's going to be number one? Now, sure, the timeline we're living in might also include wondering what Donald Trump is going to do next on the geopolitical stage. But for now, let's just keep it to football. The Las Vegas Raiders have effectively been on the clock since like last September, and all signs point to one name: Indiana quarterback and national champion Fernando Mendoza. But here's the real question: is Mendoza actually worth the number one overall pick?
We coming for you, nigga.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. This is where things get a little complicated. Quarterbacks always rise. Every single year we watch teams talk themselves into the guy. Sometimes it works, but just as often, it resets a franchise back 5 years or more. Please see the New York Jets. Mendoza might have the arm, the poise, the resume, but he is so clearly better. But is he so clearly better than the rest of his class that you pass on elite, safer talent? Because this draft isn't lacking at the top end, especially not in the trenches. Take a player like Arvell Reese out of Ohio State, an edge rusher with game-wrecking ability, the kind of player who doesn't need that much development time, the kind of player who shows up week one and changes how offenses function. Those guys hit a little more often than quarterbacks. That's just the reality. So what do the Raiders do? They already brought in Kirk Cousins, a reliable, if unspectacular veteran, a stopgap. The idea would be simple. Let Mendoza sit, learn the system, adjust to NFL speed. That's usually what they do on paper. But drafting a quarterback number one overall just to sit him only makes sense if you're absolutely convinced he's the future. Not just a future, the future. Otherwise, you have options. You can take the best player available, someone like Reese, and immediately build a defensive identity, which I think is very important in today's NFL and in today's offensive pass heavy NFL. You could trade the pick, move down, stack assets, and still land a blue chip player in the top 10. Or, and this is the long game, you could position yourself for next year, because looming over this entire draft is one name, Arch Manning. And whether teams admit it or not, that does matter. This is what makes the Raiders' decision so fascinating. It's not about Mendoza. It's about how you build a roster in a league that pressures you into desperation at quarterback. Because the truth is, quarterbacks don't just define success. They define job security. They define timelines. They define whether a regime gets 3 years or 10. So the safe move, trade down, accumulate picks, and build some depth. Give yourself flexibility. The bold move, take Mendoza and believe you found your guy. The old school football purist move, take the dominant edge rusher, anchor your defense, and figure the rest out later. To have this conversation with me, a man who won't really admit to it, he's a bit of a Browns fan. Is he more of a Browns fan than he's a Patriots fan? No. But he is a Cleveland guy because that's where he's from. If you put enough drinks in him, you'll hear the Cleveland in his accent. And we were late getting to the show because I jokingly said, hey, is Cleveland going to F this draft up? Do something stupid, like trade up and get a quarterback? And he goes, dude, I've seen some draft boards at him. So let's just get Mac in. And please welcome Mac.
It's draft eve, bitches. All right.
We never get to do these on draft eve.
No, we typically don't. But to get to what Jason said, yeah, Cleveland's absolutely gonna fuck this up.
Who's gonna fuck up worse, Cleveland or the New York Jets?
Cleveland.
You think they're gonna fuck up more than the Jets?
This is how I think they're gonna fuck up more than the Jets.
I'm excited to hear this.
A couple months ago, Myles Garrett redid his contract.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, keep in mind, he signed that giant deal, and they've already redone it to give them flexibility to trade him. Right now, everybody's like, why would they trade him? They just signed him to a new deal. Well, essentially, they have lessened the dead cap money that they would hold if they traded him, right? So essentially, when he first signed the extension, they would have like $42 million in dead cap money annually for like 3 years if they traded Myles Garrett. Now it kind of cuts that in half, give or take a couple bucks. So somehow the Browns will like package their 2 first-round picks up to move up and draft somebody that you're just going to be like, who? Wow. And then trade Myles Garrett, which is going to be like the worst, I think, because he's a generational talent. I don't think anybody can really argue that point. And I wouldn't. I think he may be one of the best pass rushers you or I have ever seen, Jason. So that's how I think they're going to fuck up more than the Jets. The Jets are just probably going to overreach for somebody. I mean, most mocks I've seen, the one I have open right now, have the Jets taking David Bailey from Texas Tech, which goes into what you were saying, draft that havoc wreaking defensive end who can anchor your defense, get pressure on the quarterback, take the onus off of the offense, which, let's face it, they just don't really have any, unfortunately. And, you know, I don't know. You know, like Jason and I were talking early, like before we went live, like this is a very top heavy draft. The best players in this draft are going to be taken in the first 6 or 7 picks. And then after that, this draft is weak as shit. The one strength for the 2026 NFL draft is offensive linemen. You're going to be able, if you are trying to plug holes on your offensive line, which I'd argue is maybe the most important position you should be drafting for now, because you have so much money tied up in the quarterback that you probably need to keep him upright so he could do his job, you know? And we're kind of seeing a renaissance in the rushing game as well, which is nice to see.
And do you think, and I hate to cut you off because I want to amplify the rushing game point. In the rushing game, for the first time, and I can't remember how many years, there's a running back in the top 5 when it comes to the top 5 players available.
Yeah.
It's Love from Notre Dame.
Yeah, Jeremiah Love. And a lot of what I've seen is that the Chiefs made package picks up to move up to get him. I don't think that's smart. Zahir, you knock it off already. Mac, this is going to be a very top-heavy draft. Jason, just you wait. I got a very top-heavy prison thought to show you.
That I do.
Yep.
I have been collecting pogs.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think teams will be able to, like, Seattle needs a running back right now, right? Kenneth Walker signed with the Chiefs. You know, and we've seen you want that kind of 1-2 punch. So one guy isn't carrying the load completely by himself. You know, you can spread it out. I think more recently we've seen that work very well for the Lions, you know, with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery before he left. You know, having 2 running backs is good, but, you know, Charbonnet, you know, he's out. He had a pretty extensive knee injury. So, you know, Seattle's down to 1 running back. That would be high on my priority list to get in like the 2nd or 3rd round. But, you know, if you need a lineman, this is the one to go out and get him. You know, this is the draft. If you're in desperate need of a quarterback, this is not it, dude. This draft ain't it. Your best bet.
Find somebody from the last couple of years. I'm sure there's some guys that have a lot of talent that just got shelved too quickly.
Dude, go sign Mac Jones. Right?
Oh my God, go sign Mac Jones.
Right? Go sign one of those guys, because this is not the quarterback. This is not the strength of this draft.
Is Mac Jones even 30?
No.
Oh, go sign Mac Jones. Why would you not sign 26-year-old Mac Jones and sign a 26-year-old rookie?
I mean, that was the big thing. Someone was comparing Carson Beck and Anthony Richardson. They're like, why would you draft Beck when you can go out and pick up Anthony Richardson? They're both the same age, and Richardson's going into his 4th season. And I'm like, I don't know if Anthony Richardson is the guy that you draft or you sign with the intention of making him the starter. I don't know if we're going to see good football out of that kid. And I'm not saying that because I want him to fail. I'm saying that because
of this.
The Colts, no.
Taking himself out after that run.
The Colts have some weapons on offense, and he could not get it done. You know, and the sad thing is he also has shown that he cannot stay healthy. You know, which, you know, that's, if you can't stay on the field, you're not going to get the 50, 60, $70 million, you know, your deals that, you know, guys like Mahomes and Burrows are going to get, you know, have gotten. So, Virtuoso, come on, man.
Virtuoso says slave auctions were the original
NFL draft. Stay woke.
Like, I don't know about that. I think Tom Brady would like to disagree with you.
Oh, yeah.
I think Mark Gastineau would like to disagree with you. But I have heard people say that since I was in high school.
Yeah. So the crazy thing is like we know Mendoza's going to go 1. The Raiders are going to.
You think they're not? You're not expecting anything crazy like a trade? You don't think
as much as we'd like to think there are adults in that draft room, that team is still run by a Davis, so no.
I refuse to believe that they are going to draft Mendoza, and I would put all $8 that I have that's going to last me until the 6th of May.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's time to hop back on the pole, Jason. It's time to hop back up there, you know. You may not be able to make it through a whole shift. We need to get you through 2 stage appearances and maybe some private room time, you know? That's it.
I really believe the Raiders are going to F everything up.
Okay, hold on. Before you go on, everybody that's saying the draft is a cheap labor extravaganza, you are correct, but I want you all to know. All right, I'm putting together notes and stuff, still researching for an episode about our professional sports unions here in the United States. The union is the one that negotiated that rookie scale to ensure that veteran players were the ones that were making the money.
Yeah.
So this was a union issue. The owners did not go to the players with this. The players went to the owners during the 2011 lockout with this, I guess, compromise, idea to lessen take some of the onus off of the ownership. But it really was just to ensure, because veteran players were pissed that guys like Sam Bradford was making $23 million a year and they weren't. So
yeah, that was all the talk.
Yeah.
But if we really want to talk about exploitative labor, it is not a draft. Sorry, guys. It's not a draft. And I don't mean guys, the people watching the show right now in chat. I mean people that might be listening to it later. It's baseball and their ability to get players from poor Latin countries for little to nothing, or get suburban white kids that went to college.
Yeah.
Baseball is a go ahead.
And the thing is, it's not just poor kids from Latin American countries. It is literal children, 13, 14 years old, locked into 10-year contracts, right? Which drags out their arbitration years when they get through the minor league system and hit the majors. So, that is gross as fuck. And Connor, when I get the notes to Jason and he goes through it, I'm already expecting the texts. Like, what the fuck?
about the Bengals?
No, about the union stuff.
Oh, okay.
Because Major League Baseball Players Association and the NFLPA, a lot of incestuous hiring practices there, ladies and gentlemen, and they're all not good. Okay, none of them have worked out well. All I'm saying is a man by the name of J.C. Treader, Claw will know who he is. He was an offensive lineman for the Browns, went to Harvard. And guess what he majored in, Jason? Guess.
Don't say contract negotiation. Psychology.
Labor relations. You know what you don't go to Harvard for if you're pro worker? Labor relations. He literally got a 4-year degree in how to break unions. That was his entire
I'd love to see that syllabus. Right? I would just love to see that syllabus.
Yeah. So that man ended up being the head of the NFLPA at one point for a very long time.
But let's get back to the draft before we even talk about who's going number 1, all that other stuff. Let's talk about this kind of a blockbuster trade. Dexter Lawrence to the Bengals.
Yeah, I think that's a phenomenal trade. You're already kind of set. What you want to do is bring in some actual defensive pieces, so Joe Burrow doesn't have to feel like, okay, guys, he gets in the huddle, he's like, we got to score 40 today. All right, because the defense isn't stopping shit. So it's
They
bringing
put up
in
a lot of points. That's a good point.
Yeah.
The Giants put up a lot of points with a young quarterback, a mix of him and Russell Wilson actually playing.
Yeah,
pretty
you know,
well.
and the thing is, like, since he doesn't need a lot of pieces to get back to where they were 3 years ago, right? When they went to the Super Bowl or the AFC Championship game, excuse me. I apologize, everybody. But the Giants have about 1,000,000 holes to fill. So why not trade a guy, that's probably not going to stick around for another pick where you can, bring in another young player that's going to make your team better. It goes back to what you were saying before, Jason. Like, let's move down, accumulate draft capital. Let's try and fill all these holes to give us some cap flexibility once we're decent and bring in the guy that can kind of put us over the hump. I think that was a smart trade, right? Like, if you are a shit team, the Giants, the Jets, the Titans, the Browns, right? You're not going to compete this year for a playoff spot. Like, you're not even going to sniff it. Like you said, you're probably going to be tanking for Arch by late September, mid-October.
That's rough.
Right? And that's okay. That's all right. A team like the Giants, they're going to roll the dice with Jackson Dart. Go for it. But let's make sure that you put some people in front of them. Trading a known commodity for more picks or trading down to get more picks, that's going to give you an opportunity to fill more holes quicker, right? So, I mean, if I'm the Giants, I would have moved out everybody for picks, man. You know what I mean? Like, you already know you're going to be bad this year. Why not just lean into it?
Stockpile in this late round heavy draft. Give me a starter. Give me one starter. I'll give you this pick. You give me your one next year, or I'll even go so far as to say you can give me a one in 2028.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing, right? Like, these front offices are getting really, really good at finding starters deeper into the draft, right? Because you got to think, when you and I were growing up, rounds 5, 6, and 7, those were just kind of throwaway, fill out the roster during preseason.
Rounds. Sorry.
Yeah.
12 round drafts.
Yeah. But, late rounds, you didn't count on those things. Like, because you knew you weren't going to get like ready-made players. But the way the game is now, especially at defensive backfield, case in point, right? You need 6 serviceable, like, guys that could get you good snap defensive backs now. Because at one point, all 6 of them might be on the field at the same time, right? So you've got to go deeper in the draft to find some of these guys. And that's where development comes into play too. And that's why the bad teams, the Giants, the Jets, the Cardinals, the Browns, right? The Raiders, they don't develop talent very well. The fact that the Raiders found Max Crosby in the 4th round is a small miracle. I think that was like God coming down, like, listen, you guys have sucked a long time. I can't watch your fan base be this miserable anymore. Max Crosby, round 4, it just, these guys typically, these teams typically don't draft and develop talent very well. And the teams that are successful are the guys that do draft talent and develop it well,
I was trying to see how many Pro Bowlers were this past season were late round picks.
I don't know off the top of my head.
About 3 to 5 players from rounds 4 to 7.
And see, that's pretty good. Like, even
with
you're
hitting. Yeah, that means you're hitting.
Yeah, and even with the weird, the Pro Bowl rules now, where like typically the voted in big name starter, he's gonna be like, nah, I'm not going anywhere near this shit. Yeah. And you get like Shedeur Sanders was a Pro Bowler this year. Like, not to knock him, but they were like, we need another AFC quarterback. Shedeur, you're up. Let's go, pal.
There's a lot of guys that have made the Pro Bowl, and you think to yourself, word? Yeah. you made the Pro Bowl? No way.
Wait, what? Yeah, man. Yeah.
Dan Orlovsky was a Pro Bowler? What?
Yeah. People forget that, like, Tommy Vardell was a Pro Bowler at one point, You
leave touchdown Tommy.
Oh, my God, dude.
Motherfucker. If you are from California, Mac just calls you every expletive in the book.
He had one good year in Cleveland. One.
Down, Tommy.
Oh my gosh, man.
Touch. Brad Muster. You get these white running backs right, Mac. You yourself modeled your game. Your neck roll was just like you yourself wore the same neck roll. You looked at your paw and you said, Daddy, one day I'll stop having this accent and then I'll be the next Brad Muster.
And I'm going to go to Stanford, Daddy. Not sounding like that, you won't.
I'm not an oil tycoon, son. What's wrong with you?
We're not in Oklahoma. All right. Just knock that off.
Daddy. I hope Brad Muster is watching right now. He's like, hey, somebody mentioned me.
Hey, honey, I got a fan.
Brad Muster, I just want you to know, if you are not watching this show right now, hopefully this gets to you. I watched every televised game that you played at Stanford, and I thought you were going to be the greatest running back of all time. And it doesn't matter because you were the greatest running back. When did he come out? 88?
Yeah, and Vardell followed him, right? Or was a couple years after.
Yeah, a few years after,
yeah. What's nuts is when we talk about like these bruising white running backs, they all went to Stanford. See, I was waiting for Toby Gerhart.
Toby Gerhart should have won the Heisman. Look at the numbers. It's fucking white erasure. It's white erasure.
And you know what's nuts? Peyton Hillis was running back 3 for that Arkansas team.
That Arkansas team was fucking
McFadden,
deep.
Felix Jones, Peyton Hillis. Like, wow.
Deep.
Yeah. Oh,
White
there's Tony.
Backs are so much more common now.
There's Tony. I knew it was coming.
What did Tony say?
Peyton Hillis, woo, pig suit.
Oh yeah, he's at Arkansas, or he grew up in Arkansas. Gen Alpha NFL fans would ask you bewildered, wait, players used to wear full contact football in the Pro Bowl? Oh my God, players got lit the fuck up at the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, and then like the late 90s, it turned into kind of like, yeah, we're wearing pads, but we're gonna play more touch football. And then they were just like, we don't need to play a game anymore. You know, we'll just play flag football. And we'll have a disco contest. Let's have a disco contest. See, what's funny is they had the Pro Bowl games leading into the actual Pro Bowl, and they played beach football one year, and Robert Edwards had such a catastrophic knee injury that he almost had to have his leg amputated.
My God, that was that was
yeah. Yeah, and that was after his like 1,000-yard season with New England. And he didn't play for like 2 years and then latched on with Miami and had a couple more good ones, but you know, he wasn't the same guy, you know. But yeah, that's when they kind of like were like, whoa, we should pump the brakes on this, guys. Yeah. This is bad.
I used to like watching the Pro Bowl, and I haven't watched it since they, like you said, started playing patty cake. It's like
yeah, I mean, and they moved it to like Orlando, and I guarantee you the players are like, guys, we used to go to Hawaii, which was rad. Now we're in central fucking Florida. Ugh.
Yeah, not the party that you think it is.
Sam Darnold's like, let's go, guys.
Wait, was he in the Pro? He didn't go to the Pro Bowl because he played.
No, he was too busy playing in the Super Bowl.
no, but he wasn't even nominated to the Pro Bowl.
He would have made it. Yeah, he was like, he statistically was like one of the top, I think, 4 quarterbacks in the NFL. But he wouldn't have went.
I'll tell you right now who. Okay, you're right. Yes, the number 1 starter was Jared Goff. No, I'm looking at last year. I'm looking at the wrong year. I need to find 2026. Sorry. I'm like, Jared Goff. Wait, that doesn't sound right.
Don't say Jared Goff around Red right now. He's very upset at the Lions. Very
What
upset.
did they do? They haven't picked anybody yet.
It's because the front office has been pissing him off for like the last 2 seasons.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. That's really fair.
But yeah, if Sam would have went to the Pro Bowl, he and Mrs. Darnold would have hit up, Disney World, and he would have had the picture with the Mickey hat on with the ears. And hey, sweetie, I'm feeling a little frisky. You want to fly Jason? Want to fly Jason out here for Pro Bowl weekend?
I could totally see him doing some goofy shit like that. But he did grow up in. I forgot about it. He grew up in. Yeah, he made the Pro Bowl. You're right.
Yeah.
Darnold, JSN, Leonard Williams, Devin Witherspoon, Rashid Shaheed, DeMarcus Lawrence. That's a deep. That Seahawks team is kind of an all-star squad right now.
Dude, it's a good team, man. It's a really good team. They reloaded pretty quick after.
But can we say this back to what we were saying in the opening of the show about you don't need to draft a quarterback and don't try to force the issue? Seattle has a pretty young Sam Darnold and a well-seasoned team behind him where you can win for the next, I feel comfortable saying 5 to 7 years you can win Seattle.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is they've drafted players to put around Darnold, right? Jackson Smith and Jigba. Kenneth Walker had been there a few years, but he kind of broke out this year. I think the system was better suited to Walker's game this past season, right? Charbonneau is, when he's healthy, is a phenomenal running back, right? They got a pretty good offensive line. Their defense is much improved because, they were cream of the crop, with the Legion of Boom, and it kind of fell off at the end of Pete Carroll's, the Pete Carroll years, because Carroll in that front office did not draft well after picking up guys like Richard Sherman and Bobby Wagner, right? They just were like, well, we can plug anybody into this system and they're going to be good. No, that they got to be able to play the game, right? But this new front office, I think, has done a phenomenal job, right? Between player acquisition, player development, and then the actual coaches, getting their system in place and having these guys play well in it. And having a guy like Darnold who kind of rehabilitated himself in San Francisco, and that seems to be the thing. If you were a first-round pick who flamed out with his original team or played on some bad teams, come to San Francisco. Brock Purdy at one point will get hurt. You will have a chance to look good.
Can Trey Lawrence, who's also not that old, can he be rehabilitated?
No, dude. I don't think he has NFL talent. And that's not a knock against him, right? It's not. He only played one season of college football, right? And then he played that truncated, weird FCS COVID year, which was only 3 games for, North Dakota. So the Niners taking him, right? And then first packaging picks to move up to take him.
The 2, right? Was he 2 or 3?
Yeah, he was 2, Oof. I believe. And I thought that was absolutely insane, right? Absolutely insane. Because one, this guy hasn't really had a lot of actual game experience. And that counts for something. People are like, oh, well, you got guys that play 7 years of college football now. And you know what? Yeah.
And look how they come into the league.
And a lot of times they're hitting the league, not even skipping a beat.
Bo Nix saved the Broncos franchise from the Russell Wilson debacle. Well, we don't even mention Russell Wilson anymore in Denver.
The man who shall not be named.
Yeah, they don't even talk about Russell Wilson anymore.
You go to Denver to hang out downtown, and they're like, who was the quarterback before Bo Nix? Oh, Sierra's husband. Yeah.
Shh, don't jinx us. Somebody said Russell Wilson's name during the championship game or during the playoffs, and look what happened to us. Look at Jaden Daniels in Washington. I think he's the guy there for the next 10 years.
Oh, easily.
Caleb Williams, who convinced me to do something I haven't done in over 20 years, where any team that I don't support or have them anywhere near me because I'm so superstitious. Caleb Williams might be, in his 2 years in the NFL, one of the most exciting players in all of sports. Next to Shohei Ohtani is the most exciting player.
Oh, dude, Ohtani, yeah. I mean, I think Caleb another year under Ben Johnson, right? That entire team another year under Ben Johnson in that system. The Bears are only going to get better, right? I think if we're looking at like the NFC North, the Lions have some work to do, but they have tools like players in place to be good, right? Green Bay, another very well-run franchise, right?
Yes.
The team I see that's going to be worse because, like you had said, you swing and miss on a top 10 pick, it can put you, behind the 8 ball for years, and that's the Vikings, right? Going with J.J. McCarthy, I don't give a shit. He's going to go into his 3rd year not having played more than 10 games. Now, keep in mind, he missed his entire rookie year. So last season was his 1st year, and he couldn't stay healthy, and he didn't look good when he was, so like NFC North, you have 3 teams that, are going to be good. And then the fucking Vikings, because they have no quarterback play really. Right. And I don't know, if you saw, but they fired their general manager like soon after the season was over, kind of throwing him under the bus for everything that happened. And it's like, dude, yeah, the general manager's in charge of making picks, but most general managers are working hand in hand with their coach now. Like, hey, what do you need? I think we need this. What do you think is going to put your, our squad, in a better position to win on the field? And Kevin O'Connell was striking out there too, dude. He was high on J.D. McCarthy. And it's like, okay, we get it. You're the quarterback whisperer, but this dude didn't do shit in college. What makes you think he's going to suddenly bust out in the pros? And that's how I see Drew Alar now, the guy from Penn State. Everybody's like, oh man, he's got all the tools. No, he's tall. Okay, that's what he is. He's a tall, white quarterback. And NFL GMs still get mad talent boners for these guys, right?
Well, Drake May ended up paying off. So far.
Yes, but you know what? May put up numbers in college. And I'm going to tell you, with a much less talented team than Alar played on.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
Alar had specimens all over the goddamn field.
He has NFL caliber talent on both sides.
Right?
Yes.
And he did nothing with it. Nothing. He talked a lot of shit like, I just wanted to go to Ohio State, but they didn't offer me a scholarship. So that's why I went to Happy Valley. I went to Penn State. Yeah, and you sucked, bro. And now suddenly, you're a fringe 1st round pick. Oh my God.
I don't even know. Well, first of all, unless you're Kerry Collins, I don't know too many Penn State quarterbacks that have balled out in the NFL.
That's like a great trivia night thing. Like, all right, everybody, name me 2 Penn State quarterbacks drafted in the 1st round. Go. And everybody's going to be like, oh, goddamn. There will be one Panthers fan, like the OG Panthers fan down here, that'll be like, Kerry Collins. That's one.
That's one. Name the other. Who's the other? You have to tell me.
Was it Blackledge?
Fucking A. Blackledge did go to Penn State.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a... I usually know the 83 draft, damn near the 12 rounds, back of my mind. I totally forgot Todd Blackledge. I apologize, Todd Blackledge. If you're not watching this show, I apologize.
You need to still apologize to Mark Rippon, too, as well.
Mark Rippon, sorry for calling you Native American.
Zahir, that's the thing, though. There are too many people. There are too many, great scouts and general managers that are like, you know what? He's 6'5", 230. He's going to kill it here. And it's like, did you not watch him?
Did you know what John Elway said? Why he didn't? They asked John Elway. He was talking to Shannon Sharp. Elway, I think, had an ESPN thing on him, and it was okay. But he went on a press run for it. And from what I've heard, he enjoys a beverage in his post-playing days. And John Elway was just real loose. And when he got with Shannon Sharp, it was actually, I think the interview he did with Shannon Sharp was actually really, really good. And I love when Shannon Sharp talks about John Elway and his ability to do certain things for him, to make him the pro that he was. And when you hear younger people talk about quarterbacks of a certain era only through metrics, it's like, no, you don't understand. Those numbers that you're so accustomed to, that you only look at, they don't tell the whole story of a man. But Elway said, he said, what was the biggest mistake you ever made in your front office career? And he said, not drafting Josh Allen. And he goes, well, why didn't you draft Josh Allen? And he goes, I ran into Josh Allen at a tournament, and I looked at him and I was like, you were kind of a local guy playing in Wyoming. You were right there for us, but I thought you were too tall. And we had just swung and missed on Paxton Lynch.
Yeah.
And we also swung and missed on Osweiler, who was about the same size, was 6'6" as well. And he's like, I just saw another guy that was over 6'5", and I figured this was going to be a problem. Because if you think about quarterbacks in the NFL that have been that tall, Dan McGuire, Mark's brother, was very tall. Todd Marinovich was pretty close to 6'6", wasn't he?
I believe he was like 6'4", 6'5", yeah, something like that.
He was a big dude.
Drew Bledsoe was a giant.
Bledsoe was about 6'6". He was probably the best giant quarterback that I can think of right now, because I've run into people on the street like Rich Gannon. I ran into Boomer Esiason during the Super Bowl 10 years ago.
Boomer still claims he's 6'1", and I'm like, bro, you were never 6 foot. You were never even 6 foot. Shut up.
Who else? Like some of those guys are relatively big if they can still stand up straight. Their knees are shot to hell. But Elway was like, I can't draft a big tall guy. And now we're even seeing more quarterbacks come out a lot smaller. But I don't know, after the Kyler Murray experiment, I don't know if we're going to see too many under 6 feet guys.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, everybody's like, Minnesota's a great place for Kyler to kind of reinvigorate his career. I'm not saying that Kyler was electric at times in Arizona, but that was just another bad organization that didn't draft talent well. They didn't develop talent. You know what I mean? Like, but here's the thing, right? Kyler Murray was a dude that just constantly put himself at risk of getting pummeled, right? Like a bootleg for him, right? They do, Dre. You're absolutely correct. Guys lie about their height as much as women lie about their weight. I'm a short king. I know this, and I lean into it. I embrace it. All right. I can't be tall and handsome like Jason. I'm just built like a trash can, and I'm okay with it. But Kyler Murray, like even on bootlegs, you typically have a running back out there to run interference for your quarterback. Kyler's like, no, I'm going to run outside that running back, like on bootlegs. He would take off, and it's like, slide, bitch. And it's like, no, I'm going to try and get another 3 yards. And it's like, you are the same size as those gnomes that had the tall hair.
Kyler Murray took that team to the playoffs twice or once? Twice?
I think it was only once, wasn't it?
Anytime the Cardinals go to the playoffs,
a small miracle.
You better look at that quarterback. Look, Jake Plummer, Kyler Murray, Kurt Warner. They could do whatever they want to do in Arizona. Punch babies.
Jake Plummer to this day can still just he could walk up to someplace in Tempe and just put his dick on someone's shoulder. They're gonna be like, "Who? Jake Plummer."
Jake Plummer, brother.
Oh man,
number 16, Wiley Jake the Snake. That's a great penis you got there, man. Uncut and everything.
You scamp. God, look at this guy. Just put his dick on my shoulder. Hey, can you autograph this part of my shirt now?
you want to hear something crazy about Jake Plummer that you probably be like, no way. So I stopped playing video games because they got too real for me in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2000, I can't remember the year, but it was the year before Jake Plummer actually got traded to the Broncos. I would always trade for him and put him on the Broncos. And Jake Plummer ended up going to the Broncos. He's still in Denver, and he does a sports show about the Broncos. Surprisingly, you would think he would do something in Arizona where
I think a lot of it might have to do with how close he was with Pat Tillman, right? They do Tillman's run down in Tempe, and it ends in the stadium. But when Tillman was killed, he and Plummer were super tight, mm-hmm. right? One of the last conversations he had about getting out of the Army and going back into the NFL, he talked to Dick LeBeau, who was his first coach in Arizona, right? Who was then a position coach in for the Rams. And then he called Jake Plummer. And Plummer's like, hey, man, it's only been 3 years. You take insane care of yourself. Like, you get back into summer practice, you're going to be fine, And when Tillman was killed, and if anybody doesn't know the story about Pat Tillman, he was killed by friendly fire by his own people. And keep in mind, he was in the same company as his brother, who was a professional baseball player. Okay. And they didn't let his brother know how he was killed. And it was a massive cover up, right? They said he died by enemy fire. He was a hero. He got blasted trying to save somebody. But the Tempe City Council really leaned into that and were the ones that organized, along with the Department of Defense, that giant funeral that was on TV. And his brother, the professional athlete, the Army Ranger, was like, Pat would be furious at this because he didn't believe in God. He didn't like your war. He was trying to get out, so the Tempe City Council just really helped all that along and like even drove Tillman's family away with the nonsense. So I can see why Jake was kind of like, what, Denver's rad. And Jake strikes me as a dude who might partake a little, like.
Yeah, Ramblers said, he lives up the road in Boulder and has a side business cultivating and selling psychedelic, but they're supposed to be not psychedelic. There's some other kind of mushroom. Yeah. But I wouldn't.
Tillman did volunteer, but you got to realize he volunteered right after 9/11. Everybody was like trying to go to war because we were attacked. It wasn't until
those guys. That's story. Yeah.
And the thing is, his first deployment wasn't to Afghanistan; it was to Iraq, and that's where he was like, this is all bullshit. Why am I doing this? So, you can't, I'm not going to fold him. I won't. It sucks. I imagine he turned over in his grave when they were trying to make him out to be some kind of war hero, and he was like, that did not fucking happen.
They were trying to make him out to be like the ultimate patriot. There's like a movie or something that they made before the documentary came out. About that. Yeah.
And the book, I read a couple books, one by his mother that were phenomenal. But they tried to make him, the Bob Kelso of, the global war on terror. And Bob Kelso was a Buffalo Bill who died in Vietnam. But yeah, so like I said, I can understand, why Jake was like, Denver's cool. I'll just hang out up here. He's a pretty good dude. He came down to Fort Benning when I graduated jump school and pinned wings on all the guys that were going to the Ranger Regiment. So like, he's still like, we all know how I feel about the military, but as a young soldier, I thought that was pretty cool because he was taking time out of his fucking day to do it.
And who did this again?
Jake Plummer.
He's an interesting cat. He actually, the Denver show he does is strictly Bronco talk. It's him and another former Bronco, Nate Jackson.
Hey, Jake. Hey, how do you feel about no, dude, don't say that. We got this guy named Bo now. Don't bring that other guy up.
No, Jake Plummer was quite critical of the post Bo Nix game. Again, I watch the show as he's a guy that stepped away from football after the Bronco thing didn't work out. He had a lot of opportunities to go back to the league and said, F it, play professional handball. And then grew.
Well, it's just like Drew Bledsoe, man. Like
the wine,
like after finishing up in Dallas, somebody offered him a 3-year contract. He was like, no, man, I'm good. And just goes back to starts 2 vineyards on the opposite sides of each other. One in Washington State, where he's from, one in Massachusetts, where he played for a lot of years. And then he just pops up occasionally with his tall, handsome self, sometimes with a beard, sometimes freshly shaved, but always with a glass of wine in his hand, just enjoying life.
I'm sure he's a guy with easy to talk to with a couple of beverages in him.
Oh, dude, yeah. And see, the thing is, you know what killed me? Like, I know we're going to start talking about the draft again here in a second, but when Elway moves into the front office and becomes the president of operations, right? Not even just general manager. He's the president of operations. He's in charge of the whole fucking Broncos franchise. Every time you saw him, dude, he's got like the liquor sweats. Just He'd be on the field and his white button down, his like ties fluttering in there. It's 40 degrees outside. He's got no coat on and in Colorado, just sweating, just shades on, just oh god. Yeah.
You know, one thing Elway doesn't get enough credit for, and this is back to the draft, and this is what I love about the draft. This is what I love about guys like Bill Walsh. This is what I love about guys that, sadly have I wrote about this with Dave Chappelle. You live long enough and you become the villain. And Bill Belichick had a really good eye for talent and putting that talent in the right positions, and not necessarily always in the first round, but like later round guys.
Always in the later rounds, very rarely in the first.
That to me, if you look at how the Niners built their team, a lot of the guys that you love from the 80s and 90s Niners were not first round guys outside of Jerry Rice. Roger Craig wasn't a first round guy. Ronnie Lott was.
Ronnie Lott was like
Hannah was not.
No. John Taylor wasn't.
John Taylor wasn't. Ricky Waters was, but I don't even know if did he win the Super Bowl? Yeah, he was on the 94 team.
Yeah. Brent Jones was not.
No.
Rathman wasn't.
There's a ton of guys that won Super Bowls on that team that they got in the late rounds. And if you look at every NFL draft, and you can start looking at like rounds 7 through 14, depending on what year you're going back. And you can find starters that played for the 49ers on those older drafts.
Yeah.
And that's really where, to me, you make your hay. Jimmy Johnson had kind of a good eye in that regard as well. Because when you get these gifts like the Giants have, and people keep saying, how are they going to screw this up? The reason why people keep saying that is because of the scrutiny now of the draft being kind of must-see TV, moving it into the prime time, moving it into these big arenas.
Well, stretching it over 3 to 4 days.
Stretching it over 4 days. It used to be a day in a hotel meeting room.
Yeah.
When you move it like that and you make it must-see TV, now there's so many eyes on you. How are you going to blow this when you have 2 first-round picks? I don't know anyone that's hit on first-round picks like the Dallas Cowboys hit on first-round picks in the late 80s and early 90s. My God, they turned that trade into a dynasty. They only won 3 Super Bowls in that run.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to think, 3 and 4 years, and then they got what? 5 picks from the Herschel Walker trade, right? And 3 of them, I believe, became Hall of Famers.
And then they cut all the players they got.
Like it was
more picks.
It just, I mean, you've got to be able to find players at the end now, because with the way the salary caps are, yes, the NFL salary cap is just going to continue to climb until it plateaus, right? And we all know that eventually happens with these salary caps. The NFL might have a better chance to grow for a longer time because their TV deals just get exponentially larger and larger and larger. And then you have to, factor in streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Apple TV are tripping over themselves to get a piece of the NFL pie. People forget that when the NFL introduced the international game in London, that was a Yahoo exclusive for like 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So like even with a rising salary cap, if it goes up by 20%, or we'll say 15 on the low end, right? Quarterback pay has gone up how much over the last 3 to 4 years?
I don't even
right?
know.
It's, dude, some of these deals have like doubled what they were 4 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Burrow is making damn near $70 million a season.
Has he played a full season? Only the season they went to the Super Bowl and lost?
Yeah, but what's crazy is that the quarterbacks are going to continue to draw, large chunks of that cap. So you're going to have to find players that you can draft, develop in the end of the draft, honestly, to keep pay low until their rookie deal's done, right? And then you can make, you can give them the big deal to keep them, right? Or you draft the next guy up. That's kind of how it is. And the thing is, the successful franchises, like you pointed out, find those players at the end, and the ones that don't are typically doormats. And it's sad to say, over the last 20 years, we've had pretty much the same continuous 5 teams that have been doormats, and occasionally they make a playoff run.
They can't get undrafted, right? Again, the draft is 7 rounds. It used to be 12. When Mac and I were growing up, it was 12. That means you have 5 rounds basically that are gone where people actually made the team. And when I think of, again, looking at the Denver Broncos and when Elway was there, kind of have a really good eye to pick up guys that were undrafted. It's like, okay, well, who's going to stick around after the draft? And for me, that is when you get the most bang for your buck, because you're talking about you brought in the guy for a little bit of nothing who's fighting way harder than everybody else because he's undrafted to make this team. And that's when you get guys like C.J. Anderson, Super Bowl champion C.J. Anderson, beat the Patriots in overtime, 20-yard run C.J. Anderson, undrafted, right? And I think the Broncos have this streak, I forget how many years it's been, where there's an undrafted guy that consistently makes the team.
Yeah, I mean, especially in Denver, they have a knack for finding the running backs, man. Philip Lindsay was another one that had a couple good years.
Yeah.
You had Mike Anderson. Keep in mind, these are all after Terrell Davis, he was, what, a 3rd-round pick?
Later than that.
Later than that? Okay. But they found guys that, for whatever reason, they had a knock against them. They bring him in and they just pump out 1,000-yard seasons. Newry, there's going to be a game in Dublin this year. San Francisco's playing in it.
6th-round pick, Terrell Davis.
A 6th-round pick. Okay, thank you.
Oh, by the way, Dallas got in that trade Emmitt Smith, Jimmy Jones, Russell Maryland, Alvin Harper, James Francis, Darren Woodson.
Jesus Christ. Jimmy Johnson is going to die, and they're just going to, literally, there's going to be somebody from Minnesota's, the family that owned him before, during that trade. That's just going to be like, you're a thief, and, spit on his grave,
If you think about what happened to imagine you're Minnesota and you're like, dude, we got Tommy Kramer. We're just one guy away from going all the way.
And you decide that guy's Herschel Walker, right?
And let's play him totally out of the normal position that he plays out of.
Yes. And not even just that. Herschel Walker dominated in the USFL.
Did you ever see these numbers?
Right. He dominated in the USFL. He gets to the NFL and realizes, holy fuck, these guys can play. And Herschel Walker still puts up some good numbers.
Dude,
right?
You know how many passes he almost caught 1,000 yards receiving in the NFL.
Right.
Crazy numbers, yeah.
But those last few years in Dallas, it's just I think Jimmy Johnson's this is not the guy that's going to work in this system that I'm bringing with me from Miami.
Yeah.
And, I'm going to move him. I'll take the picks. And he got pilloried for it. And then Dallas starts winning, right? And I think Jimmy Johnson, Cowboys coach that ended up going to Miami, really drank his own Kool-Aid, because it's dude, you hit a home run with one of the most lopsided thieveries in NFL history. That's probably not going to happen here. The game's different. The salary cap, that you have fewer rounds in the draft.
The metrics are different. There's a thing, and Hollywood is the same way. And I don't know if you guys in music industry is the same way. Someone would look at you like I'm looking at Mac right now, and they go, "Oh, look at that guy. Got a gut feeling on that guy." Sir, he ran a 5.9 40. I don't care. Got a gut feeling on that guy.
He's shifty.
Yeah, bring him in. I got a gut feeling on that guy. What round was Joe Montana drafted in? The 3rd. He's going to replace John Brody. They were like, that guy?
Yeah, that one?
The dude that barely threw for no, not at all. And San Francisco loves him to this day. Joe Montana, another guy that could kick a baby and do something odd to a dog in San Francisco to this day.
Yeah.
And no one would say anything.
He can make a bunch of non-athletic kids that somehow get scholarships. Look,
one of those kids. I tried to. So his kids went to for a short time when I was working in. I had an office in Walnut Creek, California, which is next to De La Salle High School. It was literally around the corner from where our office. And a couple of his kids were going there, and there was a lot of talk about his kids. And I tried to follow them to see where they would go. And one was trying to walk on at Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
And then another one went to like Montana State or something like that.
Yeah, he went to Montana. And this was, keep in mind, this is as Montana, who was kind of a doormat program at the FCS level, you know, and this is on the start of their ascent into being one of the top teams in FCS. And that kid could not get on the field, right? Keep in mind, he's got the Montana name. During spring practice, dude, he was getting like damn near every rep. And that I remember that head coach because ESPN was there covering Montana spring football, right?
Because
Joe Montana's son there. Dude, the coach, like you saw Montana's kid drop back and just overshoot this receiver. And they pay into the coach, and he's like this, Jason. I'm not even kidding. Just just didn't even keep the headset on, dude. Just immediately, just God damn it, you know. And I remember watching that, and I'm like, that kid will never, ever see the field if he can't get on the field at Montana.
And I think the Suns are a little bigger than him too. Joe Montana's not that big.
No, I mean, but look, it's like McCaffrey's kids, right? Christian was the big name. He had one son that played quarterback for a little bit. And now he's a pretty good wideout. He's playing in Washington.
Luke, yeah.
Yeah, you know. And then he had one other kid that was just a straight wide receiver that didn't, you know. I can't
remember that kid's name.
Yeah.
What was a nephew, though? That was a nephew, wasn't it?
Was it a nephew? Okay, it was another McCaffrey. I know that. Right? But, like, they're not all going to be winners, and that's okay. That's okay. You know? Montana has a son that could play college ball. What is he, 30? That's the next step in all this NIL stuff. You get like Michael Jordan's kids come back and he's like, you know what, guys? They're like, why are you back in Central Florida? I know I'm 34, but I still have 2 years of eligibility left.
But if Bronny James can do this.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for LeBron James's kids. As much as I thought LeBron James was like a pretty level-headed, normal dude, I think he's just been famous too long. He's been famous for much longer than he wasn't.
Yeah, and the thing is, his the younger son's actually a much better basketball player than his older brother. But the thing is, if Bronny could ever develop a three-point shot, he could have a serviceable career, especially as we're staring down the barrel of NBA expansion. It's coming, everybody. Just wait.
Where's it going to expand to, you think? Seattle?
Seattle and Vegas.
Ugh.
You know?
Ugh.
Every league, every one of our big four wants Vegas to be, you know, a four sport town. Right?
You can play basketball in Vegas because you're going to have an air conditioned place. How much power is that going to take? But don't play baseball in Las Vegas. Even if it's a dome, don't do it.
What are you talking about, bro? It's going to be great. I mean, they already broke ground on it.
Vegas Stars? No, don't do it, dude.
All right.
It's too fucking. It's
all right.
Hockey is one thing. It was cute when it dominated for those few years.
Dude, Vegas is one of the best run hockey teams in the NHL. They're kind of like the Rams of the NHL. They're like picks. Fuck them picks. Let's bring this big name guy in. You know, and Zahir is right. MLS is trying to move the Vancouver Whitecaps, which are one of the best teams in MLS, down to Vegas, which I think that would be a miserable experience. Because you got to think, dude, you'd have to have every home game start at 9 p.m. Otherwise, people just melt.
The thing about Vegas is not so much the gambling aspect. It's the whole city. As a person that literally lived in a weekly motel off the strip, I think I have a very good insight
Yeah.
into Vegas.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, when you look at teams like the Raiders, they're not far from either of their former spots. And the Raiders fans have always traveled. They'll go to Vegas,
Yeah.
right? They're gonna go to Vegas. The Knights, homegrown team, completely embraced by the city, like the locals, the people that actually live in Vegas and its environs, right? Yes, shout out Las Vegas Posse, the team that practiced in the parking lot of the MGM Casino because there was no field for them to practice on. Anthony Calvillo, who ended up being one of the best CFL quarterbacks of all time, was the quarterback for the Las Vegas Posse during the CFL expansion to the United States. And he said, "Oh my God, this is nuts." And the head coach of the Las Vegas Posse, Jason, do you know who it was?
Mm-mm.
I want you to think back to SMU.
Well, Ron, the guy that coached the Patriots for a while.
Yeah.
Ron, what's his last name?
Fuck, how could I forget his last name? Oh
You want to say
no.
Ron Lafitte, but that's a music.
No.
Country. Ron. Fuck is his name?
But-
He's famous for the snow thing, the Zamboni game, moving to clear for the kicker.
Yes.
Ron. Oh, he played football too.
Here, I'll get his name. But Jason, the funny thing was he didn't understand the rules of Canadian football. So he brought in a CFL offensive coordinator, and he was like, "How long is the field?" They're like, "It's 100." Coach, it's 100 and it's 150 yards total because the end zones are deeper, and it's also a wider field, and there's only 3 downs. And he was like, "This game's bullshit." And then he went to the casino. He just left practice and went to the casino.
Ron Meyer.
There you go.
Fuck. This is killing me. Was I right?
Yeah.
Did you look it up? Ron Meyer.
I think it's Meyer. Las Vegas Posse head coach.
Gotta be Ron Meyer.
Ron Meyer.
That was
him.
Tony Eason, by the way.
Oh,
6'6" quarterback, by the way. Tony Eason. I want to ask you this question. We were talking about the draft, and we bullshitted a lot about the first round pick. I want to show you a mock, and you tell me what you think of this mock. I think these mocks are ridiculous.
Dude, especially when they start throwing like trades in there. You're like,
this one doesn't have any trade. They don't have the balls to do that. Everyone's got Mendoza going number 1. The number 2 is where it gets a little iffy. Some people have David Bailey from Tech going 2.
Yeah.
Do you like Bailey better than Reese?
No. Now, it's only because I saw how Reese played in the playoffs, for 2 years. That guy is a game changer. Bailey is as well. But I'm going to go ahead and say this and take it how you will. Jason, you might like this one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm going to shit on a Texas-centered league. Well, it used to be. The Big 12, you're not playing against the same competition as you are in the Big 10.
Fair.
Right? And there were a lot of, Tech played Kansas, who's trying to get better, but it's still Kansas. They don't exactly play great non-conference schedules, but the dude is built, like a brick. He looks like a superhero. He's got great speed off the end. I think he's going to pan out a lot more than Bain will, from Miami as a pass rusher. But I still think Reese would be the better pick. But in defense of the Jets here, I don't think you can go wrong with either player for what you need right now,
I agree with you on that. I think Bain's a little high. If the Cardinals taking a running back at 3 seems ridiculous. Do you take a running back at 3? The last running back at that 3 is that Trent Richardson?
Yeah, and Trent Richardson didn't have the speed to play in the NFL. Really, he was just going to be a jackhammer. He would have been Vardell, right? Just
Black Vardell.
Yeah, I mean, just a goal line guy, right? He scored a ton of touchdowns. Remember that rookie year, but he only averaged, I think it was like 3.4 yards a carry. It was not pretty. He was the 3 yards in a cloud of dust. But if you need a player, and if you watch Jeremiah Love last year, that guy has breakaway speed. He could run through anybody he wants. He actually blocks well in pass protection. I think maybe the adjustment he's going to have to make is he's going to have to run more like actual routes and not just splitting out wide in the backfield on screens. But I mean, 5 years ago, if you said I'm taking a running back, there's a big argument for like value. But if you feel that player can make your team better and it's a giant gaping hole, which it is for the Cardinals, you still have James Conner, but Conner, again, has difficulty staying healthy. Yeah, a little older as far as running backs go. Why not? The thing is, the Cardinals have been so historically bad. I don't think you can sit there and do things the way everybody else does, right? You've got a pretty apathetic fan base. Like, go out on an NFL Sunday, all of you, one day. Just go out and do it. Go to a BW3s or whatever place you like to watch football. A Cardinals game will be on, and there's going to be a table of people who are actually watching that game. I want you to go up to them and ask, and we'll say it's a table of 6. Like, there's 6 people sitting there. Who's the Cardinals fan? And not one of the 6 are going to say I am, right? And you could be in Phoenix asking that question, and those 6 people will still be like, not me. Right, like it's just,
and wearing all Cardinal shit.
Yeah, it's just
like nah.
Cardinals fans are hard to find. I find.
But who's their quarterback right now?
Oh shit! Yeah, I don't even know.
Look, they're good. They're either going to get someone in free agency, which wouldn't be surprising, or stick with what they have, which also wouldn't be surprising.
Jacoby Brissett, Keaton Slovis, Gardner Minshew the second are the 3 quarterbacks on Arizona's roster right now.
Slovis, also a young guy, played on a lot of teams.
A lot of teams.
In college.
That dude got passed around like a blunt in college.
What was the last team he was at? It was somewhere crazy like BYU or something.
Oh, man, I don't even remember.
Anyway, Keaton Slovis started at USC, and then he was supposed to be the next guy up, and he ended up transferring out like so many guys have done in the last few years. But he's not like 30 years old. He came out at a normal age. You don't know what you have in him. And I think everybody else you have are suitable starters. Like we said, there's no one coming out that's worth the number 3 pick. So I do think the Raiders are not going to take Fernando Mendoza.
Okay, here's his list of colleges. USC 2019 to 21, Pitt in 22, BYU in 23, undrafted in 24, was on the Indianapolis Colts and Houston Texans practice squad, and is now currently suited up for the Cardinals.
I think he's from Arizona as well.
Oh, good for him.
I think he played Pee-wee or high school or something under Kurt Warner.
Oh, well, that's. Maybe he pans out. Who fucking knows?
Who knows? But you know what? It didn't cost anything to find out, and you're going to suck just as much.
Oh yeah,
Jacoby Brissett, with Gardner Minshew, with Keaton Slovis.
You know what? Just play Slovis, win your 3 games, and then draft Arch next year.
Whatever you're going to do, you're not going to do what you think. So if you want to build talent around that team, everybody said trade the pick and get more picks. But what position do you stockpile for a team that needs a lot of help? And most people are going to say they need help at the quarterback position first. But I'm with you, Mac. They could use a running back. But what is a running back when you're just going to stack the line? You're going to stack the box.
Yeah. I mean, but
you got to be a special running back.
Yeah. And I think, I'm with Nerd here. I see he's got the same kind of skill set as Bijan Robinson, right? Bijan runs behind a fairly porous offensive line, and look what he did last year.
Bijan Robinson's special, man.
Yes, he's very special. And I think Jeremiah Love could be that kind of player. it's going to depend if that new, the new regime. Listen, Kush, we love Nick Chubb, but after that devastating knee injury, I don't think Nick Chubb's going to be the Nick Chubb we all know and love. So, what is a running back? Yeah, that's right, Reclaim. What?
Red says they are so taking Mendoza.
I mean, the thing is, it probably behooves Arizona to trade down and stockpile picks.
Oh my God. Imagine if Arizona got to trade down and stockpiled they got a good pass rusher. Taking Bain at the bottom end of the first round, does that make you feel better?
Yeah. I mean, Bain is a monster, right? But when you look at guys like Bailey and Reese, like the whole measurables thing can be quite overblown in the NFL, right?
Agreed.
I will say that for every position but the offensive and defensive line. Okay. You need to be able to punch through, like if you're on defensive lineman, defensive end especially, we'll use in this case because that's who we're talking about, right? You've got to be able to punch through your tackle or that sliding guard, right? Or dip down and get under. And longer arms will assist you in keeping that offensive lineman from getting a hold of your pads and getting up and under you. Now, Bain, his like armpit drafting Batman villains should not be allowed. I went to the University of Miami. I was born in the darkness. You merely adopted it.
He remembers the dark times at the University of Miami.
Yeah. We're the U. Shut up, Bane. Fuck you.
Nerd says my Bucks pick at 15 in this draft is ass after the
Nerd, yes. I mean, I wouldn't even go after the top 10. I'm thinking after the 7th pick, it is a super crapshoot. Like Jason and I were talking about earlier, this is a great draft for offensive linemen. Go out and draft your linemen. But dude, if you're looking for anything else, where they have Caleb Downs going here. Wow, they don't even have him in the top 8, which I think is insane.
They have Caleb Downs going 12 to Dallas on two charts. Let's see.
I don't understand how you would let him slide because Caleb Downs is a guy who can play safety and also cover the nickel, like play nickel if he needs to.
Someone has him going as high as 10 to the Cincinnati. Another one has him going as high as 11 to Miami.
I mean, yeah, both of those need big time.
And Miami now has some issues to address as well.
Yeah, Miami is just a giant gaping like carbuncle right now.
This guy has Ty Simpson going in the first round.
Hate it, dude.
To the Rams. Are you high?
This is what kills me about this. He played one season as a starter. He only played 8 games where you could say, wow, he looks like a first round pick. The back end of last season, he did not look good.
No.
Like when the competition picked up.
Yeah.
Dude, look at that playoff game. It wasn't even competitive. Like it.
Yeah. No, I'm not feeling that. This pick makes sense to me if I'm Arizona. The offensive lineman.
Oh, yeah. Mayagua.
The 2 people have him going number 3. If you're 3 or 4, even though you can say, well, Tennessee needs to get offensive weapons for Cam Ward, you also need to keep Cam Ward upright.
Yeah.
And Cam Ward's not a big guy.
No,
I mean, know what you got in Cam Ward, start building a wall around him.
Yeah, and that's why I think that's the most important. Like if you have a bad team, yes, you want the sexy, wide out, you want the sexy quarterback, right? No, fuck that. Give me the big dudes up front. And I'm talking not just on the offensive line. You got to stack that defensive line too. Like that's where I build at.
Yep.
Of all teams, the Rams have shown us you can get game-breaking wideouts 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round. they make a business out of it. It's like they just pull a lever, like, oh, we're gonna take Puka, not a big deal, you know. He's gonna be one of the best wideouts in the NFL in 2 years, you know. Cooper Kupp, people forget he won the fucking receiving triple crown 3 years ago. You know, like he led the league in receiving yards, receiving touchdowns, and catches. You know, they find these guys later in the draft. You know, yeah, Zahir, I have big guy bias, and it's because I'm a little guy.
Big guy bias. Carnell Tate going to the Giants. I don't know. The Giants actually have a really good receiver. They have a couple good receivers.
But can you imagine Carnell Tate and Neighbors on the same field, and you got Cam concussion just waiting to carry the ball when they're not throwing it to those two? That'd be phenomenal. I mean, dude, he's easily had like 40 of those things. That guy just strikes me as like he headbutts cinder blocks for fun.
If he gets up and he can play a third of what he played before he got hurt, the Giants look like they could cause some trouble in the NFC East.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a spoiler this coming season. And then once they shore up the offensive line a little more, because Dart is going to, like, he got chased around quite a bit last season. And yeah, nerd, Puka does have some issues. We didn't see Puka losing his mind in one offseason on our bingo card, but alas, this is where we're at.
That's all I gotta say. Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
But yeah, I mean, it's the Giants. They're putting some blocks in there, but they've got to keep Dart upright and healthy.
Yeah,
you know, because when we talk about a lot of these QBs now, they're like, look at the size on them. These aren't big beefy dudes like Bledsoe. You know, these are guys that are like, yeah, they're 6'2", 6'3", but they weigh 215, 220. You know, they take one shot from, you know, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt. You know, like they get knocked around sometimes, you know. So they gotta get some. I just can't squeeze out any more productivity.
It's a size queen. Oh my god. I'm over here looking at the other screen and I come back and I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Mac has big guy bias. The Dallas Cowboys is a team which I'm kind of interested in. This guy has Dallas doing a trade with Cleveland to trade up to 6 to take Sonny Styles. I would be shocked if they did that. This draft board has Cleveland staying put at 6, taking Carnell Tate. That would actually be a pretty good pick.
Yeah, I mean, it would give Shador someone to throw to. I mean, Cleveland still has
Spencer
a lot of work.
Or Caden Proctor. Those are two. Get the guy an offensive line. He's never had one in his college career.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, give him time to throw. Like, and I think that's the key for that. What we want for all these quarterbacks, right? They need time to make the read, to make the good throw, so we can be like, holy shit, did you see that dime he dropped? You know what I mean? Like that's why offensive line play is so important. And we see a lot of general managers sit there and what do, Jason? You know, we gotta make sure we're putting up a great wall in front of our quarterback. So, you know, he's got time. And what do? They don't draft an offensive lineman until round 6. You know, and it's like, what are you doing, bro?
There's really, this is offensive lineman heavy. So we go to number 9. Seeing Kansas City pick so high is kind of frightening. Yeah,
it's kind of weird.
I could see Kansas City going edge rusher because you do need to put pressure on the quarterbacks in that division. But I can also see Kansas City go, we need a game breaker to give our all-world quarterback. I saw a stat that was put up as a meme, and I didn't believe it. And it said that, what's that black guy's name? Light skin, talks like Kermit the Frog. Patrick Mahomes.
Sounds like Kermit.
I couldn't think of his name.
All right, Travis. Run a 10-yard out.
Why do you make him sound like a very nice Randy Macho Man Savage?
I can't do Kermit, man. I'm sorry.
You're like, oh yeah, I'm very polite. Opening doors for ladies. The Macho Man.
The Macho Man loves your shoes.
Randy Savage just giving
compliments out there. Just like this. Oh yeah.
Rest in peace, Macho Man. You had an interesting life.
Yes, he did.
You had a rap album, so that's all I need to say about your life. That is exactly what happened in it. Receiver that high for Cleveland? What do you think, Mac?
I mean, you want to give Shador, weapons, right? But yeah, that's the interesting thing, Tom. He was a professional baseball player for the Reds. But I mean, yeah, you got to think Cleveland doesn't have a lot of offensive weapons. But again, I would lean more towards offensive line, right? What is the point in trying to say, well, we're going to give, Shador or Mini Me, the quarterback from Oregon that took started a few games last year for the Browns.
Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, Tillman Gabriel. Mini Me. Vern Troyer, if you will. Why are you going to sit here and talk about quarterback development if there's literally just leftovers from other teams blocking for him? It makes no sense to me. You should be laser focused on rebuilding the offensive line. And it was like we were talking about, last week. I said, why aren't more teams, if you've got good defenses, which Cleveland does have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lean on that. Play a ton of ball control, right? Let the defense do the heavy lifting until you can get the weapons you need and rebuild that offensive line and just win close games, or lose close games, but make them
second round, third round. Like you said, there's second and third round. It's day one starting talent to me in this draft. In the receiving end, like there's guys that I think for whatever reason, just it's not a receiver heavy draft, but there's some really good receivers coming out of this draft that I think people say number one receiver, you want him to have game breaking speed, amazing hands, do a touchdown dance, and there's things that they have to be able to do, and there's a lot of guys that are just very tough. They will make the catch over the middle, move the chains, guys. I love Mekhi Lemon in that regard.
Yeah, and he's going to be. It was like I was saying before we came on air. Like he's a guy that you want. Like I'll take him as my wide receiver too all day, But there's going to be teams that might be looking at him to be like Justin Jefferson, which I think is unfair, because he's not Justin Jefferson. But he can still be a hell of a wideout, Like this is the thing. When you have guys like Jamar, and Cincy, he gets a lot of open looks because he's got a guy on the other side of the field in T. Higgins who can draw, double coverage, so it's kind of like pick your poison, right? It always helps to have two guys on the field that can do that, whether it's another wideout or a tight end, like the Patriots did very well, like the Kansas City Chiefs have done very well, right?
Mm-hmm.
But making the defense kind of split focus is the goal here, right? So you can get your players into the best positions to make plays. I mean, I don't know if he gets drafted too high, he's going to be a focus, which, it's going to be kind of like Marvin Harrison down in Arizona, right? Didn't put up eye-popping numbers because he was constantly double covered. He was getting hit in a way he wasn't used to getting hit at Ohio State,
And can we talk about the quarterback play a little bit?
It was what we call ass. Yeah, it was not
Mekhi Lemon staying in state and going to the Los Angeles Rams, to me, would be a cheat code.
Yeah. Yeah, can you imagine him, like, once Puka, I guess, goes to therapy and gets clean or whatever the, issue is with that man, the Rams still have other weapons on offense, right? So he wouldn't be the focus, and that he could play in the seams, man. That would be fucking fantastic. And that would be a steal for the Rams, honestly.
Oh, dude, it would be crazy. Somebody had him going to the Ravens, Mekhi Lemon going to the Ravens. Sadly, as much as I like Lamar Jackson, I do think he can be a bit of a receiver killer.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with the Ravens, they have not done a good job of developing wideouts. How many first-round wide receivers have they taken that just have not panned out? But I think he could be good with Zay Flowers. You know, like that would give them, you know, and then you have, oh shit, what's their tight end's name?
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
Me neither. I went Sam Laporta, but he does not play.
He's a black guy. There's a white guy.
Yeah,
there's a black guy.
But
there's Ebony and Ivory of tight ends for the Baltimore Ravens.
But they have other, you know, pieces that can draw attention away and give Lemon spaces to operate. So, I mean, maybe that would work out, especially with the changeover from Harbaugh. You know, but we'll see. Again, you guys know that I want these young men to succeed. It's hard enough to get through however many years of college football you're going to play, you know, to have that opportunity, let alone being drafted and getting to play professionally. So, yeah, I mean, Connor Styles, I think, is going to fit in wherever he ends up. He's a phenomenal player.
They're saying Dallas might get him.
I mean, that would be a good pick for Dallas. You know, I think that would
Downs to Dallas. I think would be good.
Caleb Downs to anybody is going to be phenomenal. All right, like he's probably the most pro-ready guy coming out this year.
Someone has Jeremiah Love going to Washington at 7. Washington at 7 is a really interesting pick too. There's some good receivers coming out in the first round. Do you go receiver? Do you go defensive player?
I'm going to say it again,
Jason. Line.
I'm going to say it again, Jason. Your quarterback that took you to the NFC Championship game the year before got pummeled and was injured for most of the season. Offensive line. That's
no
where I'm
one
going.
has them taking an offensive lineman in the first round.
Of course not.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
New York Giants have 2 first-round picks, so they have them taking Carnell Tate at 5 and Mansour Delaney at 10. That's crazy that you have 2 in the top 10.
Yeah.
You can't miss on those.
No, especially when you're a team that's got so many holes. You've got the opportunity to immediately inject like ready to play now talent. Yeah, you cannot fuck that up. It's the same thing with the Browns.
You can't fuck that up, dude. You cannot fuck that up. The Panthers, who I actually really like going into next year, someone has them trading with Baltimore to move up to take Dylan Thieneman.
Oregon?
Safety, yeah.
Yeah, that would be smart. They need a lot of help in the defensive backfield. Because God, they were hard to watch sometimes.
They're a couple players away from being very dominant in that division, and they're really young too, which makes them fun to watch.
Yeah, it's the baby Panthers.
They're fun to watch. Jermod McCoy going to the Buccaneers at 15, or Sonny Styles possibly. The Jets also have 2 picks early on. Will they fuck that up? Jordan Tyson to the Jets. I think how awesome would it be if the Raiders don't take Mendoza, the Jets fall over themselves to take Mendoza? New York is going to hate that dude.
Here's the thing.
5 seconds.
Yeah, the thing is, it's like the Raiders do weird shit, right? Like it's just like woven into the fabric of that team. Like who saw first round pick Sebastian Janikowski coming? I'll tell you who. Al Davis. He saw it. He was the only one that saw it coming, right? Like, I'm just saying, can you imagine being the general manager of the then, Oakland Raiders, and it's draft day and you're like smoking cigarettes and you're being yelled at because you're smoking inside, but you're like, I don't give a fuck, man. Like, I'm stressed the fuck out. And you're just staring at the phone. You know what I mean, Jason? You're just like, oh God, drinking water. You're just, God, staring at that phone and hoping it doesn't ring, right? And it's like 2 minutes before your pick. You're like, okay, dude. All right. You look at your assistant GM and your scouts, and you're like, we're all agreed. Yeah, we're all agreed. Then the phone rings, and you're like, oh, God damn it. You pick it up. Hey, general manager, Al Davis. Yeah, take that kicker. What? Yeah, the kicker. You know, the fat one. What? You mean Janikowski? Yeah, that one. Go ahead and pick him. Oh, fuck me. What? Nothing, Mr. Davis. Hangs up the phone, fills out his card, and he passes it up. He's like, we're taking a fucking kicker in the first round, guys.
Take that fucking kicker. Take that kicker. That one? You said the fat one. Janikowski. So the Raiders would hang out in this city called Walnut Creek, California, which is east of Oakland. It's in the East County of Contra Costa County. But Walnut Creek back in the day used to have free parking and clubs. Oakland was quite the violent ghost town back then.
Okay.
And San Francisco's across the bridge. And so a lot of Raiders, or a fair amount of Raiders and A's players hung out in Walnut Creek. It's also where you can go do fancy people shopping. So this is the era, like those outdoor malls with like a PF Chang's and a Nordstrom, like all that shit, an Apple store. Janikowski got mad. He got drunk. And he would just mean mug people in this one spot that DJ Vlad used to DJ in, to date myself how long ago this was. And one night he got mad, and I remember he was kicking off people's side mirrors to the car.
Wow. He just goes stumbling to the parking lot. He's like, you know what seems great right now? He just like kicks someone's side mirror. He's like, oh yeah, that feels good.
Janikowski rolled up. He was just being a douche, and he had a real Hummer. You remember the H2s?
Oh, yeah.
Like the smaller, like, it's a Hummer for your mom.
Yeah.
That didn't sound right, but you know what it is.
It's a giant sport utility vehicle for grocery shopping.
the actual Hummer is a pretty large vehicle.
Yeah.
And I remember driving, again, on, because my office is in Walnut Creek, so on the 680 corridor of the interstate. And Sebastian Janikowski, like, ran up like and just like mugged me, and I was like, is that Sebastian Janikowski? What
he's got like an ill-fitting wife beater on with his belly button showing, you know, like
that dude just looked mad all the time, like he was ready to go all the time. Just an interesting fellow when he came to the Bay Area. I don't know. I'm sure he's calmed down now. He's got to be in his 40s. But
dude, yeah. I mean, maybe not. Maybe not. He could just be psychotic, you know.
He must have been a massive dude.
It was fucking wicked large. Okay, wicked large.
When you see a Hummer, I had an SUV at the time, which was also very nice high-end SUV at the time. It used to make a lot of money, and seeing that giant tank shit pull up, you're like, how do you fit in a parking space with that thing? It was not made for the street.
No, it wasn't. And now that's just every truck now, not made for the street.
Oh my God. Oh, when Americans come down with their big fucking trucks with the bright ass lights, I'm just like, God, America must suck to drive in.
It's awful. It's so bad.
It sounds like some bitch ass shit when the congressman was like, these headlights are too bright. It's like, no, they're way too bright.
I don't need to see space from the seat of my car. You know? I don't need to see that.
But yeah, don't draft a kicker in the first round. And I don't think anyone will ever do that again. Draft a punter or a kicker in the first round.
No, because you have to let Al Davis rest in peace with that feather in his cap.
And
right.
But that's the sad part about the whole, like, got a feeling about this guy. I got a gut feeling. I just want to make this movie. I want to draft that guy.
I'm telling you right now, man, if I got into scouting and in like 15 years, like I start getting interviews for general manager positions, they're going to be like, one, you're kind of old for this to be your first general manager job. And I'll be like, yeah, man, late start. Sorry.
Well, they used to be old back in the day. That's how you got
it. And if the Raiders called me and Mark Davis is still somehow alive and owning that team, I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm good. I'll go be an assistant. It's fine. I don't want to work for Davis. I don't.
I want to see what it's kind of like being inside Trump's White House. Like, I just want to see. I just have to see.
Then you know what? We put in micro cameras and we just stream it. Okay, that's how I want to see it. I don't want to be involved.
I just want to be a fly on the wall, as the Raiders are preparing, and people just keep bringing up Mike Mayock blowing.
Yeah, dude. And the thing is, it's like everybody's like, "Well, with Brady there, it'll be better." No, it won't. No, it won't, because we have learned the hard way with some of our favorite athletes, and I'm just generalizing here. Guys like Elway, Jordan, right? Awful judges of talent, awful heads of franchises. You don't need them. Yeah, it's exactly it, Red. All right, guys, how fast is he? Or what? Oh shit.
Yeah,
Mr. Davis
punter ran a 40 under 5. Yeah,
Mr. Davis, you're gonna bring up Darius Hayward-Bay, aren't you? That's the fella. Oh god damn it.
Hearing Jamarcus Russell shit on Darius Hayward-Bay on a podcast recently.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there, because here's the thing. Darius Hayward-Bay, all right, gets no free passes from me. Ridiculously fast. Could not catch a football. Okay. Jamarcus Russell couldn't properly throw a football to a receiver. So having these two on the same team was just going to be bad to begin with. Okay. Like, Jamarcus forgot, I don't play at LSU anymore. Like, I have to go line up.
He mentioned that he hated going to the NFL because he said that he didn't have very good talent when he came to Oakland. It's a really interesting interview because you know what I took away from it? That motherfucker's country as shit. He he's still alive. Also 6'6", by the way.
Yeah, he's a big boy, big man, right? But I don't know, man. When
he went off on the talent or non-talent that he played with in Oakland.
Oh, dude, yeah, he played on a really bad team, but it's like, Jamarcus, you weren't any better. You were not better than anybody on that team, and it was bad. Right? Like, you couldn't even scheme that team to a fucking win. Right? They couldn't just fall into a win. Yeah.
God,
that team was so bad.
When I watched that interview, this is what I took away from it. I was like, I thought there was a maliciousness to Jamarcus Russell's lack of pro talent. And after watching the interview, I was like, he was let down at every level of the NFL. And I think people treated him because he had that grown man face.
Yeah, he really did.
I think they treated him like a grown man when he was quite the little boy. And I say that to say that he said this thing. He goes, I was in a room with people talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. And I'm like, this poor kid from the South. I don't understand any of the things that they're talking about. I was not prepared for anything the NFL threw at me.
Yeah. And that's, fortunately, we're seeing kind of like a sea change in that, where teams actually provide support infrastructure to young players, right?
Yeah.
When Jamarcus Russell got drafted, it was like, all right, man, you're a first round pick. Here's your contract. Have at it, right? Like, just
You're
go.
20 years old. You're an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think about how old these guys are. Think about how business savvy they are. They don't. This sounds mean. They just don't sound like Jamarcus Russell anymore when you listen to the modern NFL player. I don't care what position you play.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a different guy.
Yeah. In different times, man. Like, player or organizations started realizing we just can't push the kid into the deep end of the pool anymore and expect him to swim back to the top. And especially now with the money, right? And I hate this term just because like it's super exploitative term, but like, players are an investment, right? Like, you want this kid to be okay financially. You want him to have a stable place to live, because what do you want him? You want him on the field playing his best, so people are paying these stupid ticket prices to put ass in seats, right? So I can make more money. Yeah, it is, Connor. It absolutely is. I mean, but that goes back to what Jason and I have talked about a lot, where a lot of teams, even in 2007, were like, draft a black quarterback. Why would I do that? Like, I mean, let's be totally honest about the NFL, right? Like, it is a fairly recent phenomenon.
Fairly recent.
Okay, of general managers going, oh, I don't give a shit if the quarterback's black or not. Right?
The like, general manager is black. I mean, all this stuff is like, to see the amount of Negroes that are involved in the upper echelons of the NFL is still something for me to wrap my head around, because I grew up in an era where you heard the same things about black quarterbacks, and now they're just quarterbacks now. They're not special. They're not athletes. They're just quarterbacks. Even Cam, almost called him Ward, even Cam Newton dealt with a lot of, look at his body language. Like, that's the storyline we're running with, his body language. Like, Jesus Christ.
Never mind the dude's coming off a national title at Auburn, right? And he's going, in a Heisman, and he's going to literally one of the worst franchises in the NFL. Your body language is going to be bad when you just do nothing but lose, and you're carrying an entire team on your back. And yeah, they did, they built a team around him, and he got to a Super Bowl. And unfortunately, by that point, Cam had done so much of the carrying, his body started breaking down. And everybody knows, Father Time is undefeated. You could be like Peyton Manning and play for what seems like it's 50 years and his arm finally failed, or you're a guy like Cam Newton, who in a much shorter time frame. And I wasn't talking shit about Peyton there, Jason.
No,
it's just what happened.
No, look at what this motherfucker wrote.
He does look like a sassy wizard, Tom. He does. But Cam took a beating for a lot of years, trying to will the Panthers out of outright, abysmal football play into mediocrity, and then, into a Super Bowl, and by his last few years of the Patriots, like he could barely throw a football, and that's the sad part. Everybody's body reacts different to the pummeling that you take as a football player. And unfortunately, Cam, that guy was the target of just late hits constantly. People gun for his legs. It was nuts. Cam Newton looks like a real life Adventure Time character. Well, that's fair as well.
I'm trying to be serious here about this, because I think this is important when you talk about building through the draft. The Panthers are not very good.
Yeah.
And there was that talk, who are they going to take? Is it going to be the Broncos are going to take Cam Newton, or the Broncos going to get Von Miller? Broncos take Von Miller. Von Miller and Cam Newton literally get to face each other in the Super Bowl. And it's fair to say that the Broncos defense got the better of Cam.
Oh, yeah, the Broncos defense got the better of everybody that season. Man.
It's not like they blew them out and they didn't score.
Yeah.
Cam Newton was a force, even against insurmountable odds, that he was going to score regardless. And I think we forget how well that team was built around him to be competitive. But as Max said, they played a whole different kind of football, and he literally carried the ball way too much. By the time Christian McCaffrey got there, the signs of wear and tear were already starting to show for a guy that scored. So I think he still has the record for the most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback. I don't know.
I think so too. And thinking, man, I know we got to do go into movie night, but no, it's fairly easy to keep players in small markets in the NFL, right? Green Bay, smallest market, they managed to keep damn near, the guys they draft and develop that turn into stars. They do a good job of keeping their players, and it's because the NFL is built for parity. They want teams to be successful. They don't want down teams because that's less revenue. And if you know anything about Roger Goodell, he's just all about generating revenue for these team owners, period. That's what he's there for. That's why when this TV deal ends, we're going to see probably half the NFL games off what we would call terrestrial, like CBS, NBC, Fox, and it's going to move to streaming because these streaming services are willing to pay outrageous amounts of money, even for limited packages of Apple TV's got MLS and baseball now, I think it's like the Sunday afternoon game. And they're playing I think they're paying like $130 million for 50 baseball games. That's insane, right? The NFL, we know that is the king league here in the United States. And they will continue to generate revenue like that. So it is easy for teams like Cincinnati, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Green Bay. Well, not Cleveland so much because they fuck up everything they touch. But, these smaller markets have a chance to keep their players. It's not like the NBA.
If the Lions don't draft an offensive lineman, then they're telling their fans they don't want to win.
Oh, dude, if this front office doesn't draft an offensive lineman and some defensive help, Red is going to go to the club headquarters and just spray poo all over the walls. I swear he will.
I thought you were going to say go Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator 1 on him. I didn't know you meant, fucking.
Oh, no, he's not going to kill anybody. He's just going to make it very uncomfortable for anybody to work that day.
The brown out. It's going to have the brown out.
Just spraying everywhere. Just
brown out. Have you ever seen that movie with the brown out where all those kids are shitting on each other?
I lived that in Afghanistan, dude. What are you talking about? Right?
What is it called? To Catch Making a Murderer was the one. So it was a mock off that. It was, oh God, I can't remember what it was called. It's a mockumentary, and they filmed it just like Making a Murderer. And the first one was about a guy that drew dicks on the chalkboard all the time. He just always drew dicks on the chalkboard. And then someone spray painted they spray painted dicks all over the teachers' cars, and they assumed it was the guy that wrote the dicks on the chalkboard. And through their investigative journalism, they find out that there is a discrepancy in the dicks on the chalkboard to the dicks on the card. It's like the ball hairs. Dicks on the call all have ball hairs. And his dicks never had ball hairs.
You see this vein, this thick, veiny, triumphant bastard? Not like that over here.
So they do this whole Making a Murderer fake documentary. It is hilarious. And then they made another one where these kids at a private school got their lemonade spiked with laxatives, and they were just shitting all over the place. And they called it the brownout.
Well, there's an easier way to do that. Deploy to Afghanistan and get dysentery.
Either way, it's
not pleasant. You don't realize how big of a how fragile you really are until you are crying, right? Hovering above the shitter because if you sit down, you're gonna get horrible splashback and it just having it shoot out of you. Just go, and you're crying and you're dehydrated. That's maybe they caught you, the doc got you, so you're holding up your bag of antibiotics that are through an IV drip, and you're just like, ah! Just pieces of you dying, it just. But then you look to your right, and there's somebody there doing the same thing. Like, I'm so sorry, dude. I don't mean to look at you, but you're just there.
What is the movie? I'm so sorry that happened to you, Mike.
Dude, you know what? It was a learning experience. For my last rotation, I made sure I literally brought 32 bars of antibiotic soap or antibacterial soap. So, like, I did anything, washing my hands, went on a patrol, don't have a lot of water. Well, a little water on a washcloth will lather up, get as much as I can, like I was terrified after that. I did not get dysentery the last time. Thank God. And I shared a lot of the bars I had to ensure the other guys didn't get dysentery because I didn't want to be in a position again where I may look over and the poor man's suffering in the same way I am, Oh, Zahir knows he was a medic, Jason. So he's probably seen.
Oh, Zahir was a medic. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Somebody, I had a date that came and stayed with me for a few days, and I was walking her back. I'll leave with this cheery note. I was walking her back across you have to go across this ravine that's just filled with toxic waste. It smells horrible. And because of, like, I've said this before, there's a lot more homeless people because of all the deportations. There's tons now, like tons. And you have to walk through. They don't even ask you for anything. It's kind of just like zombies. But they use this bridge that you have to walk through as a toilet.
Oh yeah. They like hang their ass over to take a shit.
Oh, someone had the dysentery poo-poos. And
no.
You can either go up there's like a ramp you can go up, like if you need a wheelchair, which is where most of them like hang out, and they're all doing the kind of not even the lean. They're just like, oh fuck it, just lay down.
Yeah.
Or you take the stairs. It's a little quicker to take the stairs. And so my girl puts her mask. She has a mask. She puts a mask on. She's like, I know it'll be like the smell is pretty rough.
Oh yeah.
And I'm trying to, being polite, and I'm carrying her suitcase, and it's a little hotter, and I just really hope she appreciates it. And someone just shit all on the side of the wall. Just there's a peanut and a raisin. And I'm like, those are two interesting things that are stuck to the wall in this Jackson Pollock turd that you just made. And next to it is a picture of Luigi as Jesus.
Okay. Wow. Wow, that is something else.
And I look over there, don't look. I'm like, turn your head, it's too much for you to handle.
Well, like, if you go to back in the, when I was there in Kandahar Airfield, like one of the main bases, like you have flushing toilets, Jason, but that shit's got to go somewhere. And there was this giant dried up hole where a lake used to be. Oof. And that's where it all got dumped in. We called it the poo lake. And they just they put up like a 10-foot high fence. They had fucking like razor wire up top, signs everywhere. Stay out of here. Stay out of here. And when the wind would blow, dude, you could be on the other side of this giant base. Keep in mind, it was big enough around that all the people that were stationed there during their deployment, they ran a half marathon, like as a thing. You only had to do 2 laps around it to do 13.1 miles.
Damn.
Right. That's how big it was. Yeah.
That's hella big.
And
hella big.
Yeah. So you could be on the other side of the camp, dude. And when the wind blew, you were like, yeah, I just got a face full of fart flakes, just shit flakes all up in here from the poo lake.
I was trying to get it's a good distance across this ravine, and I'm trying to get across it. I'm just like, oh God. And she's got a mask on, and she's walking very fast herself, but she can't smell anything. And I'm breathing heavy, so I'm just eating it. I'm just like, oh God, I can taste this. It's so thick.
Yeah, is that?
Oh God.
Someone went a little wild with the cilantro. Who was it?
Just like, oh, I just need to get you to the point where I can leave. And then I feel bad because I'm like, oh, this is why she doesn't want to come visit, because it's like, I live by the ocean. It's so pretty. It's nice. And she's like, yeah, but to get there, I kind of have to go through this gauntlet of literal shit.
Jason, there's an arroyo filled with human waste. I don't want to do this anymore.
At least she wasn't there the day that we saw them picking up the dip.
The next time she comes over, you're like, look what I got. 2 bikes. We can just pedal across real quick.
2 bikes. And it's all because it's like, I could probably drive over there, but I'm like, oh, it's just so confusing. Let's just walk. It's beautiful.
The weather's so nice.
She's like, the weather's nice, but you know it's not nice? Walking through the visual Mad Max fuck shit.
Yeah.
And then you pointing over and then going, look, it's America. There's the outlet mall. Like, I don't care. It's just, that's not a safe ravine to hold a skateboard joust. If you were to skateboard joust in that ravine and that water touched you, you probably would turn to the Toxic Avenger.
Kush, if you have a small scratch, you're walking away with sepsis if you skateboard joust in that ravine.
Derek Barnes says, I'm not late. I was this, Mac. I was this close, Mac. I was this fucking close. I was like, I should record this. So because I always tell these guys this, I should record it so they could see for themselves. And because if you go at night, I don't know what is, if you go at night, it's like the moon takes the shit away. And you can just walk across. It's totally fine at night. Like, I don't smell any of the fucking toxic waste sulfur. But
the minute the sun comes up, it's like, oh.
No. At night, I don't know why, but homeless people want to sleep like in the crevices. So like behind a garbage thing, or there's like these little benches. So not on them, but like under them. So
yeah,
it's just like,
it's cooler down there, man. I get it.
You're just like, oh.
You ever tried sleeping in Afghanistan, Jason? You're just like, fuck. Where is a rock I can get under right now? That would be great.
Like they've caught there's and here's the crazy part. There's this what could be this really cool courtyard. It's just vacant. There's just this one guy that I'm pretty sure is selling narcotics out of this pharmacy.
Yeah.
Like I feel real comfortable. Whatever he's selling, it's just not aspirin.
Yeah. He hands you like a little baggie and you're like, is this headache powder? Yeah. Okay.
Huh. You still got some boxes of Anacin. That's interesting.
Did I read that's Quaalude? What? No. No.
I'll stop looking. See. I waved to everyone, right? And I waved to that man, and he stared me right in my fucking eye like he was going to kill the shit out of me. I was like, morning. To who?
Yeah. It's have you seen We Were Soldiers once?
Yeah.
Like one of the running, Sergeant Major Plumley, the only guy that literally did, like at the time, all 4 combat jumps. So his like wings have like 4 mustard stains on them, and he's just walking by down at Benning. And then one of the young lieutenants is like, "Morning, Sergeant. Good morning, Sergeant Major." And he's like, "How do you know what kind of goddamn morning it's gonna be?" And now keep in mind, Sam Elliott's playing the sergeant major, right? So like it's perfect. And it's weird seeing him without a mustache because you're like, he's got a top lip. What? You know? And then like the whole running thing is before they go to Vietnam is this young lieutenant walking by the sergeant major, you know, and just throwing off. He's like trying to figure out a way to say good morning without like pissing the sergeant major off and making him want to cry, you know? It was fucking hilarious. But like that's how I picture everybody like that. So you're like, hey man, what's up? And he's like,
yeah, he just stared. Mac, he just stared at me like, say hi again. Double dog dare you to say it again. How lucky do you feel, Mr. fucking Sunshine?
oh, you want to say hi to me? You ever had a fist jammed up your asshole and then I work your mouth like a puppet? What? That is wow.
He sounds like you are not someone's not a morning person. I see. That was the first thought I had. I'm so glad I kept it as an insult.
It's the last time Louis C. Jason Myles in one piece.
That man,
this guy just shoots you, cuts you into a couple pieces, and like tosses you out.
He was so mad. So there's him, a very questionable exchange place. I think there's a dentist's office. There's a sign. I've never seen anyone go in it. There's a bar that's only open during the day.
See, that's for strippers that get off their shift and want to have a few drinks before they go home.
Sense. Well, no bullshit, because it's not too far from the red light.
Yep.
So that would actually make all the sense.
You get all those late shift workers, man. They want to drink too. So what if it's 9 a.m.?
Yeah.
Okay, it's their midnight.
But they remodeled it, so when you're kind of walking amongst this rubble of what looks like a forgotten city, you just see this bar. Like that's an interesting place to put a remodeled bar. It's
called like, hey, what's this say in Spanish? It's the day drinker. Oh, okay.
There's a sign that says "Welcome to Tijuana," but it's the worst sign I've ever seen. You know how when old people they get to make flyers and they learn that you can use different fonts.
Oh yeah,
you can use you can. What do you mean? I could change the way it's facing. I can go center and right and left.
I can make this a different color. What? Yeah,
that's how the. And on the other side of the sign is just the zonkey, which is not a real thing.
Oh.
The zebra donkey. It's just a donkey that someone painted.
Well, you know what? Congrats to that enterprising individual, because they're just trying to drum up, they're trying to add to the economy by getting people to come and see the zonkey. I get it. So he had a donkey in the backyard. He's like, you know what I could do with this? Black spray paint. And let's not act that there are people that are like, a zonkey, huh? And he's like, yeah, you want to check this out? Really? It's a zebra donkey? Yeah, man.
Every day that man has a little cart and people take pictures with the zonkey.
You know what? I love it. I love it. I cannot wait to see this zonkey in person.
I look forward to, because you know what's going to happen when you actually see the shit that I talk about. Seriously.
I am going to go hang out with the zonkey and then go to the day drinker and enjoy myself at 10 a.m.
There's like swings and shit. I'm like, oh, that is a really nice, but it really, I have video of this area when I was coming back a couple years ago before all the people got thrown here. And I came back at like 3 a.m. and there was no one there. I got across the border, and right when you get across the border, there's all these taxi cabs. Taxi, you want me to take you to the place where the pussy is? No, sir. I just want to go home. We can take you to the pussy place. I understand that. Better park my car over there. Just want to go home. Yeah. But I got to go across the shit bridge and all that stuff. And as you get to right before the shit bridge, it's just there's nothing there. There was no people. There's no one on the streets. There's no cars driving by. And I was like, this is exactly how you die in The Lost Boys. I was so terrified. I was like, I'm recording this, and hopefully the vampires won't want to be caught on camera.
Like one pops up next to you, but it's like, what was that vampire show that was on FX?
What we do under the shadow?
Jason! Oh, you? What? Oh, no!
Yeah, that's what I was scared of. A sassy British vampire
who has just the weirdest accents. This is what we do in New York.
New York City. I was so terrified, and I recorded it, but I never posted it on social media because I'm so scared right now. Oh my god.
See, that vampire is more likely to sit there and just rub your thigh, you know? Oh, Jason, someone's been in the gym.
I was like, I just have to get over the bridge to get to my car. I just gotta get over the bridge to go down. I have never been that terrified in my life to think, oh, this is where the vampire. And I wasn't worried about like criminals.
When you got to your front door, did Sassy Vampire ask to come in? Jason, wouldn't you like to invite me in for a nightcap? No, Sassy Vampire, I would not. No!
Sassy Nah, dude. Nah. Like it's but now it's a little different. Like I said, there's just people and it's weird. But before, when there was no people whatsoever, you're just like, this is where, if there's no vampires here, then
you're expecting Kiefer Sutherland to pop up. You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah. It's just noodles, Jason. You're like, no, it's not Kiefer Sutherland. Where you know what you're trying to do.
I've seen this before.
I'm not going to fuck Jamie Gertz.
Go to movie night where I feel like idiots.
Thank you, Jamie Gertz, if you're not watching. Thank you, Mac. Have a very good night. And everybody give Mac a big round of applause for running a half marathon.
No, 10 miles. 10 miles. 10 miles.
We're going to call it a half and just take the fucking extra miles. Jesus Christ. Sometimes just don't stay. What is this gift horse here?
Yeah. Get away from me, gift horse.
What do you mean teeth? Let me see these teeth in this gift horse.
It's like, wait, gift horse and Sassy Vampire? How are you both here right now? Hello, Mac. How are you? I'm from New York City.
Thank you, guys. And we are
out.
Peace.